Welcome to Man Cave Media. I'm doing that thing again that I do with old MacBooks where I refuse to let them die, you know? Try to save them, keep them out of a landfill. Yeah, that again. Let's go. All right, a while back, a friend of mine gave me these two mid-2014 MacBook Pros. These are the 15-inch variants. They were at his place of employment on the e-waste pile. So he asked me if I wanted them because, you know, he knows about my obsessions with old MacBook Pros. And I said, of course, why not? And here they are. So sadly, they are not in as bad a shape as I hoped. I was hoping that this would be a multi-part video and there would be, you know, a couple things wrong with them. But really, they're in pretty decent shape. Both of them have the i7, I believe it's a 4th gen. It's a 3rd or 4th gen i7 processor. They both have 256 gigabyte SSDs. One has 8 gigabytes of RAM, one has 16 gigabytes of RAM. And they both boot and run no problem. The only issues, the one with the 8 gigabytes of RAM has a bad battery, and that is why there is an iFix box right here. And the one with 16 gigs of RAM has the anti-glare screen peel, or whatever you want to call it. The anti-glaze is coming off the screen. I don't know if my camera is going to pick that up very well, but it's really bad around the edges. And so it needs to be deglazed. And this one's quite a bit dirtier than the other one. So I think it was a little heavier used. So I think it was used a lot heavier than the 8 gigabyte version. The 8 gigabyte version is showing some early signs of the deglaze on the screen, but it is not nearly as bad. It's in really, really good shape. So I'm going to leave it alone because, I mean, there's a spot right here. There's a tiny spot right there and a tiny spot down here in the corner. For the most part, it's good. So I'm going to leave it be with the glossy coating on there. But I will be trying some tricks to get the coating off of the 16 gigabyte variant. So for the 8 gigabyte variant, all I'm going to do is swap out the battery. And if you look at the step-by-step guide on iFix, they want you to completely tear down the machine. I'm not doing that. So I bought that adhesive solvent that is supposed to remove the glue for the battery, and I bought some pry tools, and we're just going to have at it, man. I'm not going to take this thing apart. I've seen plenty of people do it on YouTube without taking it apart, so I know it's possible, and we're just gonna go for it. For the one with the screen, I've seen a couple different methods. I've seen some people use Listerine. I've seen some people use just ISO. I've seen other people use toilet bowl cleaner. And the toilet bowl cleaner one intrigued me so much that that's the method I'm going to try. Some good old Lysol toilet bowl cleaner. And we'll go ahead and see how that does. I'll do the screen in real time and just, you know, if you want to fast forward through the video, you can, but I'll do it in real time just so you can see exactly how long it takes me and how the process goes. But the video that I saw where the dude used toilet bowl cleaner, it seemed like it came off relatively easy. But his was a lot worse than this one. This one's pretty bad all around the edges, but the middle of the screen is pretty good. So that scares me a little bit. I have a feeling that because of that, it's going to take a little bit longer than it did for that gentleman in the video, but it is what it is. So for right now, let's get this iFix-It kit out of the box, and let's see what I got for my monies. No offense to iFix-It, I'm not going to bother using my overhead camera for this guy because it's nothing, it's just a battery. It's not like I'm doing a cool unboxing of something. But I'm just curious. So these are the pry cards that I was telling you about, the pry tools. They're like little credit cards almost, plastic cards. that you can work under the battery. And this is the adhesive remover. So this is really going to come in handy for obvious reasons. All right. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before in other videos where I use iFix stuff, but their packaging is really great, but I always think this every time I buy something from iFixit, they could tone it down a bit on the packaging and probably knock the price of their stuff down a hair, because their boxes sometimes are a little extra. Well, all right, it's a battery. Pretty straightforward. The protective plastic that the battery is in is cracked. That's a little bit concerning, but the battery itself looks to be in good shape. Yeah, there's pieces of it falling around. The plastic housing is broken, but the battery appears to be unaffected. So it comes with adhesive on it. So once you remove the old battery, you can just get it in there and stick it down. So, all right. I'm not going to babble on too much. I'm just going to go for it. Let's go ahead and deglaze that screen first, because I feel like that's going to take the least amount of time. Because the videos that I've watched of people doing a battery swap on these, while it's not exactly difficult as far as like skill level is concerned, it is labor intensive, it seems. It seems anyway. I have never done it, so I don't know, but it seems like it's going to take longer than deglazing the screen. So I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to tackle the battery. Let's jump into it. These MacBooks deserve to live, man. All right, so for those of you keeping score at home, I have here, I'm going to use the exact same toilet bowl cleaner that I saw in the YouTube video that I watched, and I will link that in the description down below, the original video that I saw that gave me inspiration for this little project, which is 2-in-1 Lysol Power Cleaning Gel. I still can't believe I'm about to put toilet bowl cleaner on a MacBook screen, but we're doing this, man. So I'm going to use this right here. I've got some ISO and some Windex. And of course, to keep my hands a little protected from, because I mean, I think this is pretty powerful stuff if people are using it to take the glaze off of these screens. So I'm going to be wearing some gloves to keep this stuff off of my hands. And yeah, we're going to just go ahead and get after it, man. So looking at it in this light, you can see that it is mostly bad around the edges here. The center of the screen is not that bad. You see some dots here and there, like in between the keys on the keyboard. But other than that, the middle of the screen is pretty good. It's mostly around the outside edges. So again, that's a little bit worrying for me. I think this might be a little bit harder of a time than the person had who I watched that. I think I might have a little bit harder of a time than the person who I watched in that YouTube video, because his was a lot worse than mine. But we are about to find out. You know what? I'm going to take off my watch. Because I don't want to get this stuff on my watch. And the plastic gloves don't go around my watch very well. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Watch is off. That was not very satisfying. You know what? Bracelet's coming off too. Things might get crazy, man. Side note, unsponsored, of course. The 7mm and the 9mm gloves from Harbor Freight are really good. I highly recommend them. Can't beat them for the price. Really good. So I'm gonna keep one rag. I have two microfiber. I have two microfiber cloths. I'm gonna keep one clean. That's gonna be for the ISO and the Windex. And this guy's gonna be for the toilet bowl cleaner. All right, so let's just go ahead and get after it. Now, in the video that I saw, he used this stuff very sparingly. A little goes a long way type of situation, so I'm going to do the same, even though, man, it's pretty runny. Woo! Smells like fresh toilet bowls. Away we go. So I'm going to start in the corners and kind of work my way in. We'll see. Oh, wow. Wow. It's already starting to remove it. This is powerful stuff, man. Oh my goodness. Yep, it is coming off. Wow. That is cool. Cool and a little freaky. Toilet bowl cleaner. What? What? Wow. All right. I see you, Lysol. So I'm applying just a little bit of pressure, man. I'm not really pressing down too hard. I don't want to damage the screen. Like, I've resorted to toilet bowl cleaner, so I mean, when I say I don't want to damage the screen, you know what I mean. But you don't have to put a lot of pressure. This stuff just kind of eats it away, man. It's a little bit scary, actually. Like, what's in this stuff? Oh, that stench. Smells really bad. Like, really bad. So I'm just going from the edges and working my way in, doing circular motions here. And so far, the results are kind of surprising. So I'm gonna clean this side up really quick just to see how far we're getting progress-wise. A little bit of ISO. A little bit of Windex. just to see the area that I've worked over. So you can see yeah, man. Like this whole section right here, all around the outside, this side right here, this section in the middle has all been worn away. That's crazy. And like I said, I'm not applying a lot of pressure. This is very little effort. All right, continue on, soldier on. I'm going to continue to just go in a circular pattern here. Starting to lose its gusto here a little bit. It's not working as well as it did in the beginning. And as I feared, like I think that has something to do with the fact that my screen wasn't that bad, only around the edges. But overall, it was pretty good. I think that has something to do with it. Because like around the edges where the screen is bad, it really like removes it quick. But in the middle, not so quick. But it's still going. Just not as quick as it did in the beginning is all. I really should have a timer going. We are getting there. Slowly but surely. We are getting there. You can see like each pass that I take gets a little bit cleaner. Ever so much so. And then when you hit it with the ISO, you can really see your progress. It's a little hard to tell as you're going. Easy to get discouraged thinking that it's stopped working. But then you hit it with that ISO and you see how big of a clean spot you've actually made. So if the thought of toilet bowl cleaner just is too much for you, I have seen this also successfully done with Listerine. The original mint flavored Listerine. With the same, same sort of success. So I've kind of taken the Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off approach. That seems to be working pretty well. So I'm going to continue to go with that. All right, progress check. Again, you see certain areas and it's easy to get discouraged, but give it a wipe down with that ISO and you will see your progress. Just be consistent and it comes off. I think the ISO also does a fair bit of helping it. But yeah, I mean, it's going. It looks way better than when I started. I can tell you that. We are getting there, people. So I'm going to continue like moving the rag around as well. See if that does anything, but I will proceed with the Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off. That seems to be working the best. I also have it on my desk, on a desk pad, so I don't scratch up the outside too much while I'm doing this. But that's not helping me as far as like holding the machine steady. So just an FYI, if you have a rubber mat, like I have a rubber mat, but it's small, so I don't want to use it for this because I don't want to scratch up the outside of the machine. But if you have a larger rubber mat that you can use, that would probably be better. Just saying, because this guy sliding around all over the place. And I'm sure that's making it take longer. I can feel like also as more of it's working away, I can feel little bumps now on the screen where the glaze is still present. I couldn't feel that before, even around the edges where it was bad. So now I feel little grooves, not grooves, like bumps when I run over the glaze that's still there. I know it hasn't been very long, but I'm doing another progress check. Like I said, it is easy to get discouraged. But then you hit it with that ISO and you're like, oh, look at that. We've done a fair amount of damage on this thing. Sorry, when I say damage, I don't mean damage. You know what I mean. It's looking good. It's taking longer than, the person in the YouTube video that I watched. But again, his screen was much worse than mine. And I was afraid that was going to play a part in this, and it is 100% playing a part in this. Because mine was only bad around the edges. His was bad throughout. Like, he had really bad patches on his screen all throughout. So I know that's playing a part in why this is taking so long. But it's still really not that bad. Like I said, I'm not pressing hard. This isn't like I'm not exerting myself. So if you had this MacBook, this model MacBook or something similar, and you had this problem and you didn't want to buy a new screen and you weren't sure what to do, you could totally do this in an afternoon while you're watching some TV. Just casually clean your screen with toilet bowl cleaner. Because why not? I'll admit it's hella weird. Like, when I first saw that video, I'm like, toilet bowl cleaner, huh? I thought about doing the Listerine, but honestly, that looks like it takes even longer than the toilet bowl cleaner, so I opted for this approach. I gotta say, the smell is not great. It smells like I'm cleaning a toilet. So there's that. But aside from that, it's not that bad. ISO check. All right, so we've got one stubborn area right here. We've got a little bit right here. And then I've been focusing mostly on this side of the screen, so we still have a lot from here over. But on this side of the screen, tiny bit right there, this stubborn spot that I've been working on, and then a tiny bit right here. Can almost not see it when you're not looking at it in the light. So, on with the show. I'm going to focus a lot of my efforts on this little piece right here. Because once I get this part done, I'm going to rotate the MacBook around and start working on the other side. Because this is like the last little bit in this corner. And it's being really stubborn. Does not want to go. Part of it is just me being impatient because I can see the spot getting smaller. So it is going. It's just I'm being impatient. It's kind of helpful once you start getting some of it off that you can feel the bumps where it is. Because that like kind of tells you where to focus your toilet cleaner. This is by far the craziest thing I've ever done to a MacBook, to a laptop, to a computer. Basically, toilet bowl cleaner. Yeah, I'm convinced that the toilet bowl cleaner is doing the bulk of the work, but the ISO also helps out a fair amount. I'm seeing stuff wipe off, like glaze. I'm seeing spots wipe off with the ISO when I go back to clean it. So that's helping. So don't just go for the toilet bowl cleaner when you decide to do this to your MacBook. Make sure you got some ISO, because that is working. That is helping, I should say. It's a nice little combo. Tag team. Back to the stubborn spot here. Oh, think we've finally done it. See a little bit of discoloration still, but I think we got it. Ah, no! Stupid toilet bowl cleaner just spit up all over my table. I gotta deal with this. I gotta police this mess. My apologies. I'm back. I couldn't leave that stuff just sitting on my desk, bothering me. All right. I am satisfied with that. I think I'm gonna hit it with ISO one more time. Maybe some Windex. Clean it off. All right. Now I'm gonna focus more on this side because I've been kind of, just because of the way it's kind of awkward holding this thing like this. So I'm gonna see how I can keep my overhead camera in frame and get some work done on this end. We are in the home stretch. The bulk of the work is done. So again, the key takeaway from this is if your screen is already starting to peel, it's going to be way faster for you. The areas of the screen on my MacBook here that were already starting to peel up are wiping right off with this stuff. Oops. No, I turned it on. Curses, Apple, and your good batteries. This thing's been unplugged forever. It's booting right up. What's the macOS error message for toilet bowl cleaner on screen? All right, hold on. I got to shut this thing down because I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. I got to be careful around the bottom there because that's going to happen again. All right, I think it's time for an ISO check. It's starting to get hard. Let's see, this big patch right here, I can't feel it when I go over it. So that's going to take a fair amount more work, I think. It's not quite there. When I go over it with the rag, I can't feel it. It's not bumpy. Oh, there it is. Now it's bumpy. Interesting. So once you get to a certain point, man, it just starts to go. Oh, yeah. Now I can feel it. When I go over it with the rag, I can feel the bumps, and I can also see it. I can also see the spot getting smaller. So once you get down to a certain point, it just starts to go. It gives up. But whatever this stuff is that Apple used for the anti-glare, or whoever they bought the screens from, I should say, it's strong stuff, man. And also, this toilet bowl cleaner is strong stuff, man. It's kind of scary. The toilet bowl cleaner, like, kind of crazy, actually. All right, we are making good progress. I'm gonna change the rag location really quick. That also helps a bunch. Looks like we're really down to 2 spots left on the screen. We are almost done, people. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's do an ISO check. Let's wipe some of this excess toilet bowl cleaner off. I am going to refold my ISO rag here, because it's getting kind of funky. Oh yeah, that's looking good. That is looking real good. So it looks like I need to focus my efforts right here. This is the last remaining large piece of it. We are almost there, people. I can feel it getting smoother. Very exciting. It's more encouraging when you can watch as you're wiping, you can see spots disappear. It's kind of encouraging. And with this last spot, I'm at that point now. As I'm wiping, I can see stuff go away. Really, really, really close now. I got to remember to keep rotating the rag. That does help. I think we're almost fit for another ISO check too. All right, let's do ISO. It's looking good. Ah, it did it again. So just an FYI, every once in a while this thing gets like an air bubble in it and it burps. When it does that, you get toilet bowl cleaner on your table. And it bothers me. Because this stuff smells. It smells like a freshly cleaned urinal. As it should, right? But still, it smells. I don't like it. Should have mentioned this at the beginning, but if you're like sensitive to chemicals or a chemical smell, this is not for you. Because this does basically smell like a chem bath. I don't know what they use in this Lysol 2-in-1, but it is strong and it smells. And if you spill any of it, make sure you clean it up because that's not a smell you want lingering in your office or your workspace or wherever you're doing this. All right, I still feel some bumpiness here. But we are getting towards the end. Light at the end of the tunnel. ISO time. starting to get discouraged. That spot is way smaller now, but it persists. Does not want to go away. Still looks really good compared to how it did when I started. But I wasn't going for really good. I was going for great. Really wish I can get this thing to hold still. That'd be so much easier. It's such a pain in the butt because I'm on my desk pad. But I really don't want to scratch it up because then what's the point of doing this? Right? Again, I said this already, but try to keep moving the rag around because that also does help. Ah, you see that? Did the camera get that? It was gonna burp again. Damn thing. It's starting to feel smooth, but I still see a little bit of a mark here. Let's clean it up with some ISO and see what it looks like. Because it does definitely feel smoother than it did. Wow. That looks pretty good. A couple of rough spots right here. Let's do a few more passes with the toilet bowl cleaner. Gonna adjust my rag again here. Yeah, it's really smooth. I know I still see a mark, but I don't feel the bumps anymore. It's really smooth now. So I'm not sure if those marks are going to come off. It looks really good. Oh, the marks did come off. Or I can't see them anymore anyway. Here, let's I'm gonna hit it really good with ISO, and then I'm gonna clean it with some Windex. And see what we got. So I see a little bit of a mark here. Little bit of a mark here. It's like almost like it's smudged. Ah, God. Desk pad. All right, so there you go. Operation Toilet Bowl Cleaner. I call that a success. It looks excellent. I like it. Now let's see. Boot up. Look at that screen. Yep, and we are good. All right, so that took almost right at an hour, and the end result is really good. I mean, I'm really happy with it. You can see like really faint spots here and there. The trouble spots where I had to keep wiping over and over again. But for the most part, that glaze is gone, and the screen looks nice and clear, and just it looks really nice. I'm really happy with that, and I said this several times during the cleaning process. If you have a screen that is further along, as far as like the glaze coming off, it's probably not going to take you as long. The original video that I saw, that guy's screen was much worse than mine, and it came off a lot faster. And I noticed when I started doing mine, around the edges where the glaze was already starting to come off, it came off much faster. So I'm thinking that if you have a screen that's much worse than mine was, it's probably going to be much faster. Again, if you don't like the chemically smell of cleaning products, this is not for you. Maybe try using the Listerine. I saw somebody do this with Listerine and it worked pretty well. But don't use the toilet bowl cleaner if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, because this stuff is really strong. It's really nasty, man. It stinks. Like it legit. If you've ever gone into an office building bathroom after the janitors have gone and serviced it, that's what it smells like. It smells like a freshly cleaned urinal in here, like a urinal cake. It's all up in my nostrils right now, man. It's really bad. But I mean, it's powerful stuff, dude. This stuff, I mean, it just works magic. So, all right, now I'm going to move on to the battery. This is turning out to be a very long video. All right, on with the show. we are going to move on to the other MacBook that's got the battery issue. And from iFix, we have the replacement battery here, which comes whew, got a piece of the packaging stuck to the adhesive. But the adhesive comes pre-applied and it's covered with this like blue protective shield. And I bought the pry cards from iFixit as well, and the adhesive remover. And I'm pretty sure the adhesive remover is probably mostly alcohol, but just to be safe, I'm going to be using my 7mm gloves from Harbor Freight. I mentioned this already. These are excellent value. If you go through a lot of gloves, look for those at Harbor Freight. They're a great value. So one quick PSA before we get started. Speaking on these plastic pry cards, if you're going to take on a project like this yourself, I highly recommend you use something like this. There are other tools out there that are similar to what this is. So you don't have to pay iFixit the money for these. You could find these, or something like this elsewhere, but it's important to use something like this and to use a lot of patience, because it really sucks the way that Apple glues the batteries down in these things. They really stick it to you, man, for repairability. But the reason why it sucks is whenever you're dealing with a laptop battery like this, if you've never dealt with them before, if you puncture it or damage it in any way, it can go sideways real quick. I'm talking fire. Like it gets really bad, really gnarly. It's hard to put these fires out when these batteries catch on fire. And so you have to be careful. I've been doing, laptop repair for a long time, different laptops. I've never had anything like that happen to me with batteries, but most PC laptops, the battery is screwed down. They're not, adhered to the case. But for whatever reason, Apple decided to do that. So just use caution, be careful, be patient, and just go at it slowly with something plastic, not sharp, and some adhesive remover to kind of make it go a little easier, and just take your time. Be safe. Safety first. That being said, let's get this bottom cover off. And I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what size these are, and I cannot remember. So this laptop already has one screw missing. So somebody's already been in here. Interested to see what happens, or interested to see what I see anyhow under this panel, since clearly this has been serviced. The RAM is not upgradable on this, however the hard drive is, so maybe that's why it's been opened. But as far as I know, I checked both of these and I swear they both had the 256, the base storage capacity, so I don't think that's been upgraded. Maybe this guy was heavily used and this is its second battery change? Who knows? Unfortunately, I don't have any spare screws for this guy. So it's going to live forever missing a screw. So this gen MacBook, if you just grab right here in the middle, right above where it says MacBook Pro, and just kind of pull up, just pops right off. And there you have it. Other than the fact that it's dirty, I mean, it's really dirty. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it's pretty dusty in here. And it also looks like something's been spilled inside. Interesting. Yeah, we got some, looks like coffee. So maybe the battery is not bad. This is a little concerning. It might not be the battery itself. It might be because this is going right over the connector for the battery here. It might be the board or just the battery connector itself, but yeah, that's concerning. I guess we'll find out. So let's go ahead and I'm going to remove this completely. Yeah, this definitely had something spilled on it. Thankfully, it didn't get past right here. So there's like a little bit on the speaker. but there's not a lot. I don't see a lot on the board itself, thankfully. So we might be okay there, but I'm going to disconnect this guy. And I will undo these screws. They also look like they are a 5. Oh, they are not. No, they are. Man, I'm too quick to call it. So if you're worried about keeping them separate, the chassis screws are silver and these are black. What is going on? Is it stripped out? Nope. I think I'm not the first one to be in this battery. And that, like I said, concerns me with the obvious coffee stains around this thing. I'm going to go ahead and proceed and see if I can get it to work with a new battery. I can't tell if this is the stock battery or not, unfortunately. So I'm going to kind of keep it propped up like so. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, iFix's directions actually have you completely disassembling the laptop and taking all the internals out. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it propped up like this so that the adhesive remover just kind of drains down and not that way towards the board. And again, pretty sure, yeah, the adhesive remover itself just smells like alcohol, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves on because I don't know if it's only alcohol. And I will start right here. Woo. All right. Just give that a moment to kind of settle in. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm starting to be convinced here that this is not the original battery. And this guy has been replaced because these cells in the middle here look a little bit loose. Okay, I'm able to get the pry card behind this guy all the way. Let's try on this side. Again, trying to exercise patience. Don't want to break it. By it, I mean my pry card. Okay, I'm fully behind that first cell there. There's a little bit of the adhesive coming out with it on that side, but on this side, I'm not getting anywhere. It's kind of close quarters. I'm starting to see now why in the iFixit instructions they want you disassembling this guy. Oh, because it's kind of hard to use their little pry card. When it's still assembled. And I've already worked a kink in it. Let me flip it around here. There we go. So I think once I can get these two, oh, yep, they're coming. Once I can get these two big ones in the middle here, I'll be able to start working on the other side. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get some more alcohol behind it here. I've got it worked up pretty well. And I already know that this battery does not work, so I'm not being very careful with it, other than not to puncture it, that is. All right. So I've got the first two, the big ones out. And I mean, I can't tell. It looks like this might be the original battery, but I really can't tell. I'm not that familiar with this gen MacBook, but that adhesive looks factory to me. But onwards we go. So this guy works really well once you get a corner worked up. But I can see now why iFix wants you to disassemble this, because you don't really have a lot of room to maneuver. Because once you got some room to work, this little iFix tool, pry tool, it does the job, man. I used about half the bottle of the adhesive remover, and that seems to be fine. I'm not applying like a crazy amount of force to this to get this off. It's the adhesive remover, I think, is just doing its job. So now we've got this side completely off. You can kind of see there, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, you can see the adhesive remover where it's damp behind the battery. And that definitely did its job. You can see where I kind of worked a kink in this thing, trying to get it behind the battery cell. If you're doing this yourself the same way that I'm doing it, start in the middle of the two main cells right here, right in the middle. I was able to get behind it and started working it down, and it snowballed from there. It's much easier once you get past that point. So let me get these last two out, and then the hard part will be done. This is definitely going faster than the screen cleaning. That's for sure. This one popped right off. Beautiful. Oh, there's definitely some coffee back here. Man, that's why we can't have nice things, people. Be careful with your coffee. Oh! And we are free. So there's what's left of the adhesive. Here is what I'm assuming is the factory battery. I mean, it looks very Apple-like. I'm guessing it's the factory battery. There's the other side. So you see this paper, how wrinkly it is around the adhesive. This is why it's important to use something like this plastic pick tool from iFix, because if you go at this with something sharp and it punctures this, you could be in a world of hurt, man. It will be no fun really fast. So now that that's off, let me see if I could clean some of this old adhesive up really quick before I go in with the new battery. I'm going to use some more of this. I'm going to put it directly on these adhesive strips. See how much of it I can get off. Again, this smells like ISO. I think that's all this is. So if you don't want to buy, like, it's cool that they give you the nozzle, but if you don't want to buy this from iFix, I'm very certain this is just alcohol. So you can save some money and just use your own ISO. So let's see. Oh, it looks like it'll roll off, actually. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. So if you kind of work up a corner, oh yeah, it'll come right off. So I guess don't go too crazy with the alcohol, because then it makes it hard to grab it. Again, it's a pretty shit move on Apple's part to do this. Like, there's really not a reason to glue this down. Like, for what purpose? How much thinner are you going to make your device by using adhesive for the battery versus screwing it down? Like, come on. This is unnecessary, man. I don't get it. Like, I understand, the Apple stuff that's good is really good, but it's stuff like this that makes people hate them, to be honest. All right, I need a straight edge. This will go much faster. You know what? I'm not selling this laptop. I'm not giving it away. It's not leaving my house, so I don't care. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna stick the new adhesive right over it. But first, I'm gonna give this thing a clean, because it is pretty nasty in here. And see if I can get some of this coffee off, and then I will slap the new battery in, and we will see if it was damage to the board or if the battery really was just bad. So I will be right back. All right, I cleaned that up pretty good. Got most of this, what I'm assuming is coffee residue, off. Now let's go in with the new battery. Again, I'm not planning on selling this, and it's going to live out the rest of its days at my house, probably being used by one of my kids. So I don't care about the old adhesive. But if you were doing this as a repair for someone, or if you were planning on, you pick this up cheap or free, and you were planning on trying to sell this guy, you would want to, take some time and remove that old adhesive. No doubt. Otherwise, this is just kind of like a puzzle. It fits right back into the old spot. There's not really a wrong way to do it. If you don't have it in the right place, it won't sit down properly. So plug in the connector here. No problem. All right, connector is back on. This guy is pretty much done. Oh, be careful on the bottom cover if you're cleaning it the way that I was doing, because those edges are sharp and it will cut you. So what I was saying is this guy, like the adhesive on this cover is pretty much done. So I'm just not going to put it back in there. It's just going to fall off. I'm going to leave it like that. Let's go ahead and slap the bottom cover on and see if that worked. Before doing this, the laptop would not stay on. Go. So before I did this, the laptop would not stay on. What are you? Some kind of gasket? Not sure where that came from. Without the power adapter, the laptop would not stay on without the power adapter. So we'll find out pretty quickly if this did in fact fix our problem. Oh, oops, I'm forgetting stuff. Oh, geez. These two screws. Completely forgot about them. So if your eyes are trash like mine, it can be hard to get these guys lined up. Because it's a little hard to see where the mounting hole is. Oh, there we go. So you can kind of use the screwdriver a little bit to kind of line it up before you try to put the screw in. Yeah, that helps out a lot. So if you just use the end of the screwdriver to kind of line it up, to help you line it up before you put the screw in. That helps out tremendously. On with the show. Yeah, I know it would be crazy, right, for Apple to use just a regular Phillips head screw, but why can't you use just a regular Phillips head screw? I hate this. And remember, we were already missing a screw, so... And I don't have any spares for this model. All right. Done and done. Hey, hey! Nothing's connected to the battery. I'm not cheating. There's the plug right there, actually. There's my MagSafe. So there's nothing connected to it. It's booting. All right. So it was the battery that was bad. I'm sure the coffee didn't help. But, yep, there it is. There's the amount of battery you get from iFix. So let's make sure that it charges really quick. Let me log in. All right. And it is charging. Sweet. Okay. So it's currently at 40%. It is charging. Again, this is the... oh, I made a mistake at the beginning of the video. I said these were both mid-2014. This is a late 2013. My mistake. With 8 gigs of RAM. So there is my battery. My new battery info is now iFix as the manufacturer. It is charging. And it has 1 cycle count. Condition normal. So, all right, success. I like it. All right, so there we go. Both laptops now function perfectly. I would have no problem at all selling these if that's what I decided I wanted to do. Again, I got these for free, so I wasn't planning on selling them. I got them solely for the purpose of making this video. So I'll most likely just hang on to them and let my kids use them for school because they are still really good laptops. Just another quick PSA for your old battery. If you do a job like this, please, please, please do not throw this in your trash can. I apologize if this is like Captain Obvious, you know, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know that. So if you're not familiar with it, if you're not familiar with batteries, please don't throw this in your trash can. Take it to an e-waste facility, or look for a place like a lot of the local school districts around your house will have e-waste events. Other companies sometimes do an e-waste event. Best Buy, for instance, they do e-waste events. Take it and properly dispose of it. Please don't throw this in the trash can. That being said, I'm really happy how this project turned out. And now I have one late 2013 with a brand new battery that works perfectly. And I have a mid 2014 with a nice clean screen, minty fresh, and perfectly working laptop. So really happy with the way this turned out. And let me know in the comments below if you have tried this yourself, if you use Listerine or if you use the toilet bowl cleaner, or what method you use to do that to get the glaze off the screen. Also, the battery replacement, if you followed iFix's instructions like to a T and completely dismantled the device, please comment down below and let me know how that went. I kind of watched it step by step on how to on how to, you know, dismantle the machine completely, you know, do a complete teardown. And that was not something that I wanted to invest in. It was a bit much for something this old. And so that's why I chose to do it the way that I did it. But comment down below if you, like I said, going back to the screen glaze, comment down below if you've tried this before, if you used a different method, if you used the Listerine method, and let me know how it went for you. But overall, very happy with the way this project turned out. All right, that's all I have for this one. Thank you again for stopping by. Please smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and help feed that algorithm. I hope you have a great afternoon, and like always, thank you for watching.